Actually, I'm not just saying this because you're librarians, but other than the people at Norton whom I really do care for and grateful to have in my corner, there are two groups of people I adore in this reading, writing, publishing world, and that's independent booksellers and librarians. Let me tell you why. It sounds terribly like I'm sucking up to you, but you have to know this. So much great writing goes out of print. Books that you will read in your college classes and teach in your college classes, and the books your kids read at Princeton and Harvard and the community colleges, wherever they go out of print. Some of the greatest books you've ever read sell 3,000 to 5,000 copies and are no longer on the shelves 18 months after they were given birth to by the publisher and the writer. So I'm very fortunate my books are selling okay and they're still in print, but I cannot tell you how many great writers are no longer in print, and it pains me to no end. Until I walk into a library and I see they're still alive. I see them still on the shelves, and to me it's as if my father's not dead, my lovely aunt and grandmother aren't dead, my best friend from high school isn't dead. They're actually alive at the library. You just go there, and there they are, right on the shelf. Just pick them off, and there they are, and they live again. So it's very hard for me to be around librarians and without being moved. I actually feel as if I'm in the presence of a loving aunt or uncle I didn't know I even had. So thank you. God bless you. And I'll see you later. No. Thank you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to read like 21 and a half minutes from this book I call it an accidental memoir. To be really honest, it's an accidental, semi-reluctant memoir. I wasn't setting out to write it. What I was doing was writing an essay about baseball. So here's the scene. My brother is 41 years old. I'm 42 at the time. We're building my family house that he's designed. We've got our carpentry aprons on. We're going at it. We're taking a break, and I had a couple of young guys working as laborers that day, and they were talking baseball. Now, my brother and I grew up on the Merrimack River, north of Boston, these string of mill towns. Probably Jack Kerouac made one most famous, Lowell, because Lowell, Lawrence, Haverhill spills into the Atlantic. So we grew up north of Boston in the 70s, and my brother's now 40 years old, and he looks at me, smoking his cigarette, and he says, "So what? There's an American League and a National League?" I said, "Yeah, what's that about?" He said, "I don't know, what's that about?" I said, "I don't know." So, the irony is, I've got 3 kids, 2 of them boys, and both of my sons, who are 18 and 13 now, are all-star baseball players, and my oldest one's also a football player. And they got me into the sport. They got me into baseball. So the question that was fueling the essay was, how did I miss baseball? My dad never played with me. I didn't have any uncles or cousins or grandparents around. They're all 2,000 miles south of Louisiana. So how is it that my sons taught me baseball instead of the other way around? And that was the question that fueled what I thought was going to be a 20-page essay ruminating on this. And it turned 550 pages later, there's your accidental memoir. Because what was I doing instead? My parents divorced when I was 9 or 10 years old. It was the late 60s, early 70s. We were poor already. My father was making $7,000 a year as a college professor at a small junior college. My mother was a homemaker, which is a term we don't, or she was a housewife, which is a term we never use anymore. And so we went from being poor to poorer, because now that $7,000 had to support my father's new apartment and his new used car and our used car and our rented house wherever we were. And it began a 10-year odyssey of moving 2 to 3 times a year for cheaper rent and living in increasingly tough neighborhoods. So I'm just going to read 20 minutes or so from that. And I guess all you need to know is this scene is set in 1973, maybe 74. I'm 13 years old. This is Haverhill, Massachusetts, this dead shoe mill town north of Boston.